Okay, we're gonna go up to Kentucky and see if we can win the road game. We really struggled on the road here for quite a while. I think our last road victory was NC State, opening game of last year. So we've not been very good on the road, and we'll try our best to change that. This is probably one of the biggest games in school history for us. It really is. To see if we can come back from last week and play well. Kentucky's a good team. They've lost some close games. They lost 2 high-scoring games to Ole Miss and then Auburn last week. So some people think Randall Cobb is the most exciting player in the conference. He could be. Very easily could be the most elusive and throw, catch, run. He can do it all. So our defense will really be tested to try to slow him down and slow down their offense. Defensively, they've given up some rushing yards, but they play hard, they play tough, and they got a good bunch of athletes. So anyway, it'd be a big challenge for us to see if we can go play well. I don't know if we can or not. You know, every coach always says, you know, last week's history, blah, blah, blah. We'll find out if it is or not, and it'll be up to our players. Coaches, we can only say so much, but we'll see if our guys can get on to this week's game. We're going to try our best, obviously, as coaches, to concentrate only on Kentucky, because they're a team that's very capable of beating us, and probably should have beat us last year in that game. We were very fortunate. We scored touchdowns instead of field goals last year, and they had to kick a couple of short ones. And they dropped a couple of touchdown passes, and we escaped with a 2-point win last year. And I think it's pretty much their same team. I think they lost a couple of defensive players or so. But they're a good team, and they've been to bowl games 3 or 4 years in a row now. So they'll look forward to beating us Saturday night up there at 6 o'clock. But again, we came out of the game very healthy, so we're pretty much full speed. Shaq Wilson will probably be redshirted and hold him out till next year. So other than that, we're ready to go see if we can play a very good game against Kentucky. Any questions?
Steve, you say this is one of the biggest games in school history coming up. Do you feel that if you stumble, it just neutralizes the Alabama win and just kills the momentum that you've built?
Well, the key, if you want to have a big year, if you want to, obviously we do have a chance to win the East. We have a chance. We may not. We may fall on our face. I don't know what's going to happen. But this is certainly a year with the opportunity, because Florida has already lost a couple. And we got some teams that we can play with Kentucky and Vanderbilt and Tennessee. So the opportunity's there if we can really go play well. The opportunity's there because we're not a lot better than those teams, but we can play with these teams that we're facing. And whether or not we can get ourselves ready and really play well remains to be seen. And again, history, you know, we all try to learn from history. And history tells us teams that have had big wins at times don't do very well next time. We all know that. And gosh, I can go back our days at Florida when we'd lose to a team. They usually lost the next week. It was sort of a bad omen if they beat Florida, because they'd go back and lose after that. Mississippi State, Auburn, LSU, and down the line. So we're just trying to learn from history, and if we get beat, it's just because we weren't able to go play our best. Now, we may play our best and still lose. We may play our best, and Kentucky might just outplay us. So we got to go play the game to see how we are. I talked to our guys a little bit last week about it's more important to beat our division opponents than the Western Division guys. So we're starting to get into the Eastern Division opponents 3 in a row here. So anyway, it's a huge game, and we'll see how we do.
Steve, how did Hutch Eckerson play in his return, and how much did his return have to do with shoring up what the rest of those guys were able to do?
And they all played pretty well. They all played pretty well up there. Hutch played pretty well. His run blocking was pretty good. He was able to sort of get in the way and scoop block some guys. So Yeah, he did pretty well. And T.J. Johnson probably had one of his best games. And Garrett Chisholm, our left guard. Garrett had a very solid game. We still can block a lot better, though. We still can block a lot better. I was telling somebody earlier, Marcus Lattimore's yards per rush is not extremely high because he has to run it against about 9-10 guys up there. You know, late in the game when we're trying to run out the clock. It was tough with. Well, they had 9 guys right around the line of scrimmage. But that was obviously what we needed to do to win the game, was just keep running him and go from there. But anyway, we can block better, and we need to block better this week if we're going to have a chance to beat Kentucky. If we're going to beat these guys, our line's got to play well.
Both players that were in here earlier, Josh Dickerson and Steven Garcia, talked about the maturity of this team and how it's more mature than other teams. Do you agree?
Well, doesn't every team say that? We're going to find out when we play Kentucky if it's mature. Every team always says that. Yeah, we're not going to talk about it. We're going to find out. That's all you can do. Say we'll find out. So I don't know how we're going to react. We hope that we go up there ready to play Kentucky because we know that they certainly are very capable of beating us. So we're going to try our best as coaches and see if our players can get ready to play and see if we are a mature team. We'll find out.
Coach, just being around the guys since Saturday and having them know that they were the top story all across the nation on Saturday, how big of a confidence booster do you think it's been for those guys? And how do you think it'll affect them whenever they go against Kentucky?
I don't know. I'll tell you after the game, okay? That's the only thing we do is go play the game and see how we handle it. Obviously, getting national exposure is neat for our program, but we've got to put it aside and get ready to play. Coach. So I think that's what we're doing. That's what we're going to try to do. All right?
Sorry about that. How important is it playing on the road, prime time at night? How important is it to jump on Kentucky early, score on almost every possession if possible?
That's important every game if you can, but if you can't, you don't say, oh gosh, we're in trouble. I don't know how the game's going to play out. The only thing you concern yourself with is trying to keep your players mentally into it the entire game and, see how you do when it's all over with. So you hope to get ahead early, but if you don't, you hope to be ahead at the end of the game.
You mentioned the problems you guys have had on the road the last year or so. Yet you guys have had so much success here at home. Why the stark difference? It's almost like it's a complete reversal from your first 2 or 3 years here where you guys won a lot of road games yet struggled at home.
Well, I think the schedule has helped us a little bit, but we have played well here at home, or good fortune has happened here at home, and good fortune has not happened on the road that much. That could be part of it. Our first couple of years here, we were about even road and home, but lately it's lopsided. So we need to see if we can win on the road. Obviously, to have any kind of big season, you got to win a bunch of road games. And right now we're 0-1, so we'll see how we do.
Totally different group of guys, but 2007, you're kind of in a similar situation and really didn't do well. Do you even bring that up? What do you remember about that year?
No, we don't bring that up at all. It has nothing to do with this year.
Steve, you talked about how you don't know for sure how this team's going to do when they get out there. You've been in big games like this. You've won big games before. Is there a certain plan that you follow to try and keep your guys focused heading into that next week after a big one?
Well, the plan is to talk only about Kentucky and getting ready for Kentucky. And the plan is for the coaches to be ready to play. I don't think it's always true because I coached my butt off trying to beat UConn, and that didn't work out a dang bit. So us coaches, we try to win them all. And sometimes maybe the message gets out, sometimes it doesn't. But I didn't coach any harder against Alabama than I did UConn. I can tell you that right now. In fact, I coached harder against UConn. We had a whole dang month to try to play those guys. But didn't work out very well in that game.
I think Stevens' completion percentage is like 72%.
other than Alshon? Is he doing some things mechanically? And he said his decision-making's been a bit better this year.
Yeah, Stephen is thinking much better, and he took care of the ball very well the other day. And I think we only had one sack, and Hutch took a bad sack. The guy, he almost whiffed the ball, and that was a good sack. I mean, Stephen had no chance to throw that away. So you can't always throw it away. That was time to just get down and take the 4 or 5 yard sack. I think we came off that and made the first down on that drive in the third quarter. So his thinking was very good Saturday, and hopefully can continue doing that. Yeah, he's throwing the ball better, and he's throwing with guys rushing at him now. He used to take off running as soon as he saw one coming. He stood in there and took a big hit from their big tackle, 57. Their best lineman had a clean shot at him because our lineman turned one loose. But the line played pretty well overall, but they certainly weren't perfect. Yeah, Stephen that was by far his best game, and the key is trying to do it again and again and again. Our sport is a 12-game season, and you have some big moments and a little bit of low moments, and try to get your guys to get ready emotionally every week. And the winners do that, and the losers are up and down. So try to be like winners.
Steve, you've had some pretty good running backs at Duke in Florida. Does Marcus Lattimore have a chance to be in that same category with some of those you have?
Marcus is already considered one of the best around. There's no question about that, and he handles praise pretty well. He comes out and practice every day, doesn't say much, so he's the kind of kid that all the players really love, I think. But we'll let him earn his way as he goes through the year, and whatever accolades come to him, we'll let it take its course. But he's certainly a very good player and a very good teammate. And guys love him.
Steve, Brian Maddox and Patrick DeMarco have also been playing well when they've gotten their chances. Could you just discuss their contributions this year?
Yeah, Brian steps in there and has a lot of fire and energy, and played well when he's had the chance the last couple of games. And Patrick DeMarco is doing a lot of good blocking in there, as is Justice Cunningham. We just really haven't had a whole bunch of plays. We only get about 55 plays, 57 a game or so. And hopefully we can get some more as we go through the year. And it's, but that's that's the way games go sometimes. Is that, and I think the difference between the SEC and the other conferences. You watch Oregon and these teams play. They got the ball 85, 90 plays sometimes. Oklahoma had the ball 91 plays against Texas. Did y'all know that? Well, you ought to read the stats sometimes. They had 91 plays, 52 rushes, and 39 passes. How about that? 91 plays. So that's how you get a bunch of yards. And but in the SEC, it seems like the defenses are so good. We can't go back 7 steps and throw the ball, and the other teams don't do it. So everybody's getting rid of it quickly and throwing, some high percentage passes. That's what we all do pretty much. And as you can see, the percentage of completions in SEC and even what defenses are giving up. We're giving up a high percentage, and every team in the conference is giving up over 50%. Well, there's one, 49. Arkansas is only giving up 49. But anyway, so the game's moving faster. There's not a lot of incomplete passes. That's the only thing that stops the clock now. Catch it, run out of bounds, they stop it and then start it again. So it's interesting. We had one possession third quarter the other day after the safety. After the safety, we had one possession. And we had it about 7.5 minutes. And Alabama had it about 7.5, and that was the third quarter. So it's just, that's just the way the game is going, the way we're playing teams right now.
You mentioned that this Alabama win is probably the biggest one in school history. Where do you?
I didn't say that. I haven't been here long enough to say that.